Hi everybody, it's Lisa and it's time for another Verbling class. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. That is my time. I live in Washington State in the United States, and so I'm ready to start this class. It's going to be a speaking class and we're going to be talking about motivation. What gets you motivated to do things, and how can we motivate others to do things as well? So in order to get this class started, I thought we would read quickly through an article that's written by a guy named Daniel Pink. He's a well-known author these days that writes about motivation and inspiration and how we get things done. Hi there, Diana. How are you doing?
Hi, do you hear me?
I hear you just fine.
Okay, 1 second because I haven't entered yet. Properly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Am I alone?
Just for now, and then in about 1 minute. Did you make a reservation?
Yes.
Yes, that's why you're here. You get to be in the class first. So then after the 2-minute mark, then the join class button will appear, and people who are waiting out there can join in if they want. Yes. So if you are interested in the premium membership, this is how it works. You get to make a reservation for the class, and then that ensures that you get here and you can join. Otherwise, some people, for example, there's 14 people watching right now. More people usually check it out and see, and if they are not quick enough, they don't get in.
Yeah, so, I know.
Yeah, so what country are you in?
I'm in Ukraine now, but I'm from Lithuania.
Oh, okay.
And
so
you?
What are you doing? I'm from the United States, and I'm living in Washington State on the west coast. Yeah. So, what are you doing in the Ukraine?
I study marketing now. I'm a student. Oh, somebody join us.
Somebody joined. Gassan.
Yeah.
Hi there, Gassan. How are you? Is your mic working there? Yep.
Hi. Yes, it takes a little. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. Okay, so it looks like people are joining. So if you see that join class button, it's green at the top of the Verbling chat, just click on that, and that will open a Google Hangout window for you. When the Google Hangout window opens, just close the Verbling window, and then we will just have this playing. And because sometimes if you leave the Verbling window open, it'll start playing the video that's being recorded right now. This is a live class, and it is recorded. So if you want to come back later and watch it, and you can do that anytime. Okay, I think we're just about full here. So let me just say hi to everybody. Hi there to Diana. Why don't you tell everybody where you're from, Diana?
Hi, everybody. I'm from Ukraine, from Kiev. I am a marketing student now. I'm getting my bachelor's degree this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
And how long have you been studying English?
My whole life. Starting from the first form at school and still studying it.
So in Lithuania, they start really early with English?
Yeah, and in Ukraine, I think in whole Europe, we start pretty early, but that doesn't mean that the result will be such great.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, you're speaking very well, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And Imad, how are you doing today?
Hi Lisa, I'm fine, thank you. I'm Imad, I'm from Syria, and I think this is the first time I turn on my camera. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, good. We get to see you today.
Okay. My brother.
Emil, are you there, Emil?
Yeah.
Hi there, Emil. How are you?
Fine.
Okay. Your microphone's a little bit cutting in and out. I don't know why, but we'll see how it goes. Ghassan, how about you introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes, my name is Ghassan Malik. I'm from Baghdad, Iraq, and I do photography.
Ismail, how are you today?
Thank you, Lisa. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
I am connecting from Turkey, Ankara, Lisa.
Okay.
I work as a public servant in Ankara. I don't study regularly English. I sometimes study English. Then I have forgotten sometime, and so.
You've been doing pretty well, Ismail.
I try to improve my English lately a little, thanks to Woblink and thanks to teachers, Lisa.
Yes, great. Well, I'm glad you can come to the classes.
Thank you.
Hi, Maria Jose. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. I am good. Thanks, and you?
Good. Okay. The sound seems a little bit low on your microphone. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay. I'm from Colombia, and today is hot again.
It's hot again?
But, yeah, it's hot again. But
no more rain?
No, but yesterday night raining, so it's hot, but the wind is fresh, so so it's a good combination.
Not too bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Tariq.
I'm from Colombia. Nice to know everybody.
Okay, wonderful. Tariq, are you there?
Yeah, I'm Lisa.
Hi there.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great.
Great. Tell everybody where you're from.
My name is Tariq. I'm from Egypt.
Okay. Wonderful. And Yasin, how are you?
Hello, teacher Lisa. I am Yasin in Turkey. How are you, teacher?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Yes, I'm well. I'm very well, teacher.
Okay, awesome. And Osama, you just joined us. Hi there.
Yeah, hi Lisa, hi everybody.
All right. And Osama, where are you?
I'm from Morocco.
Okay, from Morocco. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so today I put for the topic of the class motivation, and I thought that we could just quickly read through an article. We're not going to do it like a reading class where we go through and talk about it, the vocabulary. We're just going to read it just to get an idea of what we're talking about in terms of motivation, and then I want that to lead to a discussion. So we can talk about what he says in the article, but we can also talk from our own experiences about how we motivate ourselves to do things like learn another language like English. And I have seen some of the students who are also showing up in some of the Spanish classes. I think, Osama, you were in the Spanish class earlier in the chat. Yeah. So I was showing up there too to check it out because I am also wanting to practice my Spanish. So yeah, let's get to the story here, this article. It's written by an author. His name is Daniel Pink, and he's an American author. I think he might have been a lawyer or something like that, but in the last probably 10 years or so, he's come out with a couple of different books, and they're exploring the ideas of business, and one of them is about motivation. It was called Drive. If you look him up on YouTube, for example, you can find some TED Talks that he's done. So he has some interesting ideas, and he does a lot of research. He doesn't do the research, he reviews the research that psychologists and social scientists have been doing, and then takes that information and then puts it into a book so that, you know, regular everyday people who aren't scientists can understand what the findings are. And then also a lot of business people are interested in his work because they're interested in how to manage people in these new environments where people are being creative, they're working on computers, they have, they can work from home, they can work from all across in another country, just like Verbling. I'm in the United States, and you guys are in all different countries, and we're working together. So this is a new, what we can call a paradigm, a new era of work, the way people work. It's different than it was before. So when you want to motivate yourself to get to work or to finish something, or you want to make, you want to motivate your employees, for example, that's the kind of stuff that he likes to investigate and write about. So I'm going to put this up in the screen share. So if you're following along and just listening to the class, then you can also read along with us. The link I put up in the chat. And I'm going to actually have you guys read this out loud and taking turns. And then we'll just read it through once, and then we will use it as a what we call a springboard. It's a springboard to start the conversation. So a springboard is like a diving board at a pool where you spring off, you jump off. Okay, so Diana, how would you like to read the first paragraph here, please?
Okay. The old carrot and stick notion of motivation is failing, in large part because it works very well for a type of work that most Americans aren't doing anymore. It's very good for a simple, algorithmic, routine, rule-based source of tasks, adding up columns of figures, turning the same screw the same way. But there is 50 years of science that says it's ineffective for creative, conceptual, complex work. And that's what most people in both the blue-collar and the white-collar workforce are doing today.
Right, good. So I just want to make sure you guys understand a couple of things in this paragraph. Carrot and stick notion. Somebody want to tell me what they're referring to here? What does it mean, the old carrot and stick? Is that something you've heard of or that you use in your own language?
I have no idea.
It's like something old or old-fashioned that didn't work today or something like that?
Yes, right. So it's a technique. Go ahead, Gassan. Do you have an idea?
Oh, you know, in politics, I work sometimes with politicians. So in politics, it means you give someone something little, and then you say them, okay, you take this little, or I beat you with the stick.
Right.
So basically, you're fooling them with a little and a stick. You're giving them a gift or a present. The other time, you're giving them the hard time and the stick. That way, you make them to work. Sometimes, for some people, the stick works better. For some people, the carrot, but they use both together.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what this means. So people don't use that just like in politics, but also coaches used to use this to try to motivate their athletes to get to work, and in schools, but also in businesses. They're saying that it used to work, and maybe it still does for simple things when you want somebody to do something very simple, like I want you to do this 50 times. So the carrot is the reward. So if you do this, I will give you a carrot. That's called the reward. It might be a gold star, it might be a raise in your job, it might be time off, something like that. But the stick notion, like you said, Gassan, is the punishment type of thing. It's the thing when you say, well, if you don't do this, then you're going to have a consequence, which would be a negative thing, a negative consequence. So if you don't finish this report by Friday, you won't get your raise, or if you don't do it the right way, the way that I'm telling you, something bad or something that you don't want to happen is going to happen. So that's exactly what he's talking about here. So that doesn't really work these days with what he's saying are creative, conceptual, and complex work. So as many of you guys know, in the digital age, in the technology age, we have lots of people who are learning, are making things, they're creating things, they're creating new applications, new programs, new ways of interacting with each other. This website, Verbling, is a creation. Somebody has been spending time, and every day they're trying to fix things, and they can't just, they're not going to motivate each other by this carrot and stick notion. There's some other ways that we can work to help motivate people. And then the only other thing I wanted you guys to make sure you know is here in the United States, we have talk about two different types of people in the workforce. One is the blue collar and one is the white collar. So the blue collar refers to what? Somebody know what blue collar means?
Maybe to those who work physically.
Yes, that's right.
In factories.
Yep. So if you're a blue collar worker, you might work in a car factory, or you might work like as a janitor at a school, or maybe you take out the trash, you're a trash man, or something like that. Even something like excuse me, Osama?
Yeah, work that involves using physical strength.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you're using a lot of your body and your strength. And the white collar ones, that's referring to a different type of work, which would be what then, Osama? What would the white collar be?
What the difference between the
what would be an example
executive?
of somebody? Yes, like in a yes. Go ahead, Ishmael.
People who are working with head or with intelligence, maybe.
Yes, exactly. So that's another good way to differentiate. Blue collar would be people who aren't necessarily well educated, and they're using more of their skills that they have, even though they might have particular skills, like maybe a car mechanic has some good skills that you definitely want him to have to fix your car. He's considered more of a blue collar worker, whereas a white collar worker would be something like a lawyer or a doctor, somebody who had to like study a lot and learn something, and then they work more with their mind. They don't have to do what we call the dirty work. They don't necessarily have to do that. They actually use their minds, their brains, to create things, build things. So it would be like engineers.
Like a boss.
What, Osama?
Like bosses, they only give commands and they don't work with their hands.
Yes, exactly. But even if you aren't a boss, but you work in like a big office or something, you would be considered a white collar. Typically, white collar is also referring to the person who makes more money. Typically, white collar jobs pay more money. Okay. So I wanted so they're saying that, so basically we're changing. The workforce is changing, and the way that people are working today in the United States and elsewhere is also changing. Okay, so we've had a little bit of movement in the Google Hangouts. Ahmad lost his connection, unfortunately. And Cosmo, you've joined us, and Kubra, you joined us. So I just wanted to say hi. And Ghassan, will you read that paragraph for us, please?
Yes.
Okay.
No, Ghassan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to make it really big so people can see it who are...
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and read that part.
Okay.
Right there.
Yes, we are not mice or treadmills with little carrots being dangled in front of us all the time. Sometimes we are. There is no question about that. But in the workplace, as people are doing more complicated things, the carrot and stick approach doesn't work.
So he's just repeating himself, basically. When you think of a mouse, oftentimes the mouse is going for the carrot, which might be a piece of cheese or something. That's the reward. But today's workplace is getting more complicated, and that way of motivating people is not working as well. Okay, so Ismail, why don't you read that right there?
Yes, Lisa. What's frustrating or ought to be frustrating to individuals in companies and shareholders, as well is that when we see these carrot and stick motivators demonstrably fail before our eyes, when we see them fail in organizations right before our very eyes, our response isn't to say, "Man, those carrot and stick motivators failed again. Let's try something new."
Keep going.
It is, "Man, those carrot and stick motivators failed again. Looks like when we need more carrots. Looks like we need sharper sticks. And it is taking us down a fundamentally misguided path.
Okay, so I want to make sure you understand what he's talking about here. So can somebody explain to me what is he saying here when we're saying instead of those carrot and stick motivators failed again, let's try something new. He's telling us what we're doing is saying these carrot and stick motivators failed again. Looks like we need more carrots. Looks like we need sharper sticks. What does that mean? We need more carrots.
Maybe new ideas?
New approach?
For motivating people?
Yeah, but not just, remember what the carrot served as. What is the carrot? That's just a word, but it really means what?
Yeah, to motivate the persons to work harder.
It's more of the same policy.
Exactly.
Creative rewards.
Yeah, I would say Ghassan hit it on the head. It's basically saying, even though this isn't working, like, for example, a carrot. If I say to you, for example, Maria Jose, I'll say, if you go to Verbling classes every day for a week, I'll give you $5. Okay? And maybe that works the first time. But then later you're like, that's not worth $5. I'm not doing that, you know? So next time I have to get a bigger carrot. So I say, okay, $10. I'll give you $10.
Maybe 10 or $15.
Right. So that's what happens with this approach to try to motivate people, like students and also workers, for example, is you try to give them things like money, for example.
Big salary.
Like a big salary. But nowadays, that's not really working very well. A lot of times, even in, teachers used to say, if you guys do really well on your tests, maybe we'll have a pizza party, and that used to be a very big thing. And now kids say they want a pizza party for every little thing they do, So then teachers think, oh, I need to do something even better. So it's not really working the way that it used to work. And on the opposite end, I could tell you, for example, Maria Jose, if you don't go to class every day, I'm going to take something away from you, for example. That would be the punishment, the stick.
Oh my God. Please, not my computer.
Yeah, right. And then maybe you don't care. Maybe you say, I don't care. You take my computer. I don't care. I'm not doing it, right? So then I try to get an even sharper stick or a bigger punishment. So I'll say, well, you can't go out, you're grounded, or something like that. That's a bigger punishment. And in the workforce, in the workplace, that might be you might not get time off. You might be what we call demoted, which is they give you a lesser job, so you're not doing important work anymore. So those are the kinds of tools and strategies that people, bosses, managers, teachers, stuff like that, used to try to use to motivate people. Does that sound familiar, Ghassan, to you? That way of trying to motivate people to do things or not do things?
Yeah, I remember the stick, but no, I don't remember the carrot.
Yes, it's true. In some countries, for example, a lot of students remember that there actually was a stick, and the teacher had the stick, and if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, or maybe you were talking out loud or something with your friends in class, they would use the stick to hit you in the hands, maybe, or something like that. So,
yes.
Yeah, the people that have
bad experience.
That's a very bad experience for people.
Oh, I remember the cable too. The big electric cable. Yes.
What?
The thick ones.
In class?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was, hated by the teachers and by the, the assistant principal. When I was a teenager.
Oh man.
Yeah, the teacher was seen like a monster.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when I was at school, At that time, one of the teachers give us candies. For example, the best student will have, if you answer correctly, he gives you a candy.
Yes.
But at that time, no one was were interested because candies is not a big big thing. We can have candies everywhere.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what he's saying here is that even though it wasn't really working for you, for example, in the class, people weren't trying to change. They were just trying bigger carrots or sharper sticks. So they were either trying to give better rewards to make you do things or punish you in a harsher way to make you do things. So now's the time for a new way to motivate people. Okay, Kubra, you want to read that part right there? We forget.
Okay. We forget that mastery is something human beings seek because we are human beings. We like to get better at stuff because it's inherently
satisfying.
Okay, satisfying. That's why people do recreational sports. Why people play musical instruments and on. I can't.
On the weekend.
On the weekend, why people do crash and things.
So can somebody give me an example in your own life of something that you have mastered or that you are working on mastering? That means you're getting really good at it on your own, only because it's satisfying to you, not because somebody's making you do it or because you'll make more money if you do it or something like that. It's just something that is you're doing for pleasure because it brings you satisfaction. What would be an example of that in your own life? Cosmo, do you have something that you're doing just because you like to do it?
I am now I am a student. I am now for a master degree, and I am worrying about whether I can find a job that fit me or not. I'm do some researching about like I said yesterday. I'm do some about the media, how media affect people's thoughts. I don't think that as for now, I don't think that can match any kind of job that I have known now, but I am very interested in it, so I just do it. But I think I will not be. I don't want to regret when I become old.
Yeah. So it's something that you would do even even though it might not make you a lot of money or something. It could, but you're not sure about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's a good example. Diana, do you have something that you have learned or studied or done in your life that you just did it because you wanted to know how to do it?
I'm learning Spanish now just because I want to do it. I'm not going to Spain to live there, but I just enjoy this.
Yeah,
and I do it, and I dedicate much time to this, and just for nothing, just for myself.
Right, right. Nobody's paying you or giving you candy or anything.
Carrots. No.
Nobody's punishing you if you don't speak Spanish. Okay, perfect. That's a great example. Ghassan, how about you? Do you have an example in your own life about that?
Well, when I do some abstract work or I see, other people have done that, then the viewers, they ask, oh, what's the meaning? What's the purpose? I hate that question. There is no meaning. There is no purpose. I just like to do it.
Yeah, great. Exactly. Okay. Ismail, how about you?
Lisa, I am good at swimming and I am good at lake fishing and hunting also. I grew up in a small fisher village. I was swimming in the lake. I was fishing lots of lake fish. and hunting some lake ducks. I am good at these subjects.
Great.
Great life.
Yeah, sounds nice. Kubra, what is an example in your own life of something that you do just because you want to? It's fun for you or interesting?
Interesting. Actually, I don't know now. I am thinking.
Okay.
I don't know, sorry.
Okay. I'm just writing the question here again for people who are in the chat. So it's basically, the question is, what is something that you like to do in your life that you do for fun, and, should be and, personal satisfaction? Because what he's saying here in the article is that a lot of times people just do things because we inherently, that means it's inside of us, we just find it satisfying. So examples of this would be recreational sports. So sports, not professional sports, but just recreational, means you just do it for fun. We play musical instruments on the weekend. So again, not to make money, but just to play for fun with our friends or by ourselves. And also like crafts and things, like Ghassan mentioned, taking pictures, the type of pictures that he likes. They don't have to be for a reason. It's just satisfying. And oftentimes when we're doing things that are inherently satisfying to us, we master them, which means we become really good at them. So Maria Jose, do you have an example in your life of that?
Okay, one of the things that I just do for fun is dancing, I think, without purpose. I can dance in any place or something like that, maybe in a street, and the people look at me like, what kind of girl is that, or something like that.
Crazy girl.
Yeah, and also I enjoy learning English. Talking to other people around the world, and learning other cultures and some things that like that.
Great. Yep. Osama, how about you in your life?
Yeah, for me, the thing that I enjoy doing in my life is learning new languages. That's this is a thing that I do with pleasure. And as you told us, that things that we do with pleasure and just for fun are the things that we succeed in, not the things that other people told us to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the things that they tried to get you to do with rewards or punishment or other motivational strategies, right?
Yeah, and the best example is that a lot of people they don't master language in classes. In classes, in the classical classes.
Yes,
so when they went to other country and start speaking the language and having fun with other people, they master it at the time. But in classes, because the teacher is not good, or the student laugh at him, for example, when he asks wrongly, or
yes, that certainly happens a lot. Tariq.
Yes.
What would be an example in your own life of something you just do for fun, for pleasure, for your own satisfaction?
Yeah, I like reading, especially in my field. I'm a network administrator. I like reading books related in computer field, especially in network. And I like sports, especially workout at gym.
Yeah.
I go to gym every day to work out.
Nice. Okay.
That's
great.
it.
Great. And we just lost Yasin when it was going to be his turn to talk. So if anybody wants to join in, you can. We're going to continue reading this and talking about motivation and what gets us motivated. The problem, okay, I'm not going to read that. I'm going to have somebody else read it. Okay, who's next? Maria Jose?
Yep.
Okay. You got, wait, hold on, that's a pretty long one there.
Why, yeah.
Let me break it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Just break it up a little bit there. Okay, go ahead and read. The problem is?
The problem is that in our organizations or our organization aren't really architect for that. If you look at the modern workplace, I will say it's one of the most feedback deprived places in American civilization. You see this very much generationally. These millennials,
Generation Y.
millennials, millennials coming and having led these incredible feedback-rich lives. Press a button, something happens. Plays a game, you get a score. Send a test, and a sound indicates that it successfully went out.
Yes. So in this paragraph here, I want you guys to understand what he's talking about. Feedback deprived. So when you get feedback, that means somebody is telling you right away, did you, like for example, if you're learning English, if you're in a class and you're getting a lot of feedback, you might be told, so for example, in my writing class, the next hour I'm going to have a writing class. In the writing class, people get feedback right away. They write something, and then I correct it, and then right away they know, did they make a mistake with punctuation, did they need to change their verb tenses or something like that. But a lot of time in your job, you don't get feedback. You don't know if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. And what he's saying then is, as children in this Generation Y, so the Generation Y is the people who have been growing up, probably that are like Maria Jose, probably you're a Generation Y. I think your age level in your 20s probably. These are people who have grown up with feedback-rich lives. So these are the kids who grew up pressing lots of buttons, playing video games, sending texts, all those things where you get immediate feedback. If you watch kids, or if you yourself have experience playing video games, you know right away if you did good or not, because you either get to go to the next level or you died and you have to start again. So you're always getting this feedback, and it's very instant. It's instantaneous. It comes right away. It's immediate. So people are getting used to that. So when they get to the workplace, they have to, it's a different way of experiencing the world. So here, let's read what he says here. What happens to them when they get to the workplace. Osama, how about you read that? And hi, Maria, I see that you joined us. Osama? And Demet.
Okay, from then.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, okay, let me check the... Okay. Then they get into the workspace, and feedback comes in the front of a once a year awkward 45-minute conversation with your boss. It's a feedback dessert, and
desert.
I think desert, desert. It's not dessert.
Yeah.
Feedback dessert, and I think that the more there are mechanisms to enrich that level of feedback, people became more satisfied, and they actually get better at stuff, and that has this kind of renewable energy of motivation.
Yes. So people like Maria Jose, for example, you like to spend time on Verbling, and I think you told us that sometimes you play video games. Your generation, for example, and probably Diana and other people here, you're very used to finding out right away if you got it right? And what's happened is, in the workplace, sometimes you go there and then your boss, maybe you only have a once a year 45-minute conversation with your boss, and he is evaluating you. Or maybe it's a little bit more often, but basically what he's making the argument here is that it's a feedback desert. So it's very sparse, we could say, which means it doesn't happen very often. And so he's thinking that if you can provide more feedback, then people, your workers, will be more satisfied and will actually get better at stuff. And Osama, I'm thinking about your example when you said that a person, a student, often has trouble really becoming fluent in a language or using a language naturally when they're just learning in a classroom. They're not really getting that much better, but when they go to a country, say, where, like if you're trying to learn English and you come to the United States and maybe you go to school or you live with a family or something, you get better very quickly. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yeah, because you're getting a lot of feedback. If you came to my house and you lived in my house with me and you wanted to speak English, you would be getting a lot of feedback from me and my kids, because if what you said I did not understand, I would say, what? And you would have to keep trying, and then I would say, oh, this is how we say it, and you would learn, and it goes very quickly that way. And not only does it go... Yes?
Yeah, and also in a funny way.
Yes.
Yeah, laughing and correcting people's errors. Yeah. It's not like some teachers. They correct your errors and look at you with strange eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what he says here in this last part of the sentence. And this has a kind of renewable, so that means it keeps renewing itself, energy of motivation. So when you're getting that constant feedback, that's why video games can be very addictive, because you're constantly figuring out, oh yeah, I didn't do it right, I'm going to try again. Now I know how to get up to the top, or now I know how to go shoot that guy or something, You're motivated. Yeah, Maria Jose.
Can I say something about the video games? I am not a good player, but I know some friends that they are very smart. Because they develop like the mind of something like that to resolve problems across the playing games, video games. And they are like, if I can't pass this level, I couldn't go to sleep or something like that, and they try and try and try and try to get the score or to pass the level. Yeah.
Right.
To have the high score.
High score, yeah. Or level up. We say in here in the United States, they have some T-shirts that say, just 5 more minutes, like the mom's trying to get the kid to get off and go somewhere. 5 more minutes, I have to level up. One more level, yeah. Okay, good. All right, let's keep reading here and getting through this. Let's see. Tarek, do you want to read?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
We tend to think about management as something that emanated from nature or emanated from nature or was handed to us from God, when in fact it's just something that some guy invented. Gary Hamel, the management thinker, has said this very well. He says management is a technology. The problem is it's a technology from the 1850s. There are very few technologies from 1850s that we use today. It's a technology that is designed to get compliance. Yes, compliance. That's what it's for. And even if you sand off the rough edges, it's still a technology meant to get people to comply.
Comply, yeah.
Comply, yes.
Yeah, so if you're trying to get somebody to comply, like a student or a worker, it mainly just means you're trying to get them to do what you want them to do. You might think it's the best thing for them, and it might be a good idea, but the idea of managing them is you're just trying to get them to do things your way, and people nowadays are not really wanting to do that so much. So that's why he's saying that it's not working. This way of trying to just get people to do what you want them to do through rewards and punishments, or what they're calling carrots and sticks, isn't really working. Okay, let's see. Maria, how about you read that one right there? We want.
Yes. We want some measure of compliance in organizations, but what we want more than anything else is engagement. And if you look at the polling data on these staggeringly low levels of engagement in the workplace, I think it's because we are deploying the wrong technology. People don't engage by being managed. They don't engage by being controlled.
Exactly. Okay, so he says here that I want to make sure you guys know what these words mean. So we don't want just compliance. I mean, in some jobs, yeah, maybe, for example, at my coffee house, sometimes I just want my workers to do what I tell them to do, right? I just want them to be kind to the customers. I just want them to make the sandwich the same way every time. But I don't want them to get too creative because maybe it'll cost me too much money. Maybe they'll give people too much lettuce, or they'll, give them too much whipped cream. So some jobs that are more blue-collar jobs, yeah, you want the workers to do what you want them to do, right? But in these higher-level jobs, you want people to be engaged. And I also want my workers to be engaged. That means I want them to want to be doing what they're doing. I want them to be excited about their life and what they're doing. They're spending time working there. Let's have them be engaged. Polling data. Maria Jose, you asked. Background noise. Polling. Polling is when you ask people questions. You have like a questionnaire. That's taking a poll. And so polling data means they asked a lot of people about this type of topic, and they got some information. The data is the information they got from the polls, from the questions. And so if you look at that polling data, there's low levels of engagement. So low levels of engagement. Ghassan, what do you think that means, low levels of engagement in the workplace?
Well, meaning people, keep what they think for themselves. They don't communicate to each other. They don't pass ideas or mistakes, or even don't encourage themselves. That's low engagement.
Yes, yeah. So they're not really that excited. Maybe they're just doing their job, but they're not really adding anything. And what he's saying is nowadays what we'd rather have is people who come up with good ideas and are creative and want to be excited about what they're doing. Cosmo, will you read that paragraph for me there?
Okay. The way that people engage is if they get there under their own steam, and they require sometimes innumerous amounts of autonomy over people's time. When they do what they do, over the technique, how they do it, over the team, who they do it with, and over the task.
Mm-hmm. So what is he saying? When do people become more engaged? What are some examples that he gives right here? They become more engaged under their own steam. So that is another way of saying
their own effort.
Right. Effort. And sometimes he says that requires enormous amounts of autonomy over people's time. So he's saying people tend to do things more in a more energetic way, and they get more engaged with what they're doing when they have choice, when they do what they do when they want to do it. So for what could be an example of that, Maria? So can you give us an example? I know that you work for yourself, but if you were working in a company, do you always want your boss telling you exactly when you have to do this or that, or would you prefer to have more autonomy, which means you get to decide?
Yeah, I want the boss to trust me. Mm-hmm. I want there to be trust and confidence.
Confidence,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's confident that you're going to get it done, but you're the one who gets to decide when you'll work on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be more motivating.
Independently, is that another word? Or autonomy is better, perhaps?
Yeah, autonomous means you're deciding for yourself. It's all about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's controlling you. Okay?
Yeah.
And a lot of times when people think that they're being controlled, then they even have more autonomy come up. They have more desire to say, forget you, I'm not doing what you tell me to do. They become even more adamant about wanting to do it their way. So, So one thing is their time, and then another one is over their technique, so how they do it. So maybe for example, you're a web designer and you have a boss, maybe the person who owns the company, and you work for that company, and they tell you we need the client needs the new website page or the new web page by Friday, right? But that's it. That's all they tell you. So then you have a lot of autonomy. You say, okay, maybe you're going to go home and you're going to work for 5 hours and you're going to get it done, and it's only Wednesday, right? So you can do, and maybe you're going to use your own techniques. Like maybe you have to use HTML or something like that, but basically you get to decide. They're not telling you exactly what to do. That's a lot of freedom, and that for some people nowadays, for the workers that we have nowadays, is more motivating. They're more motivated to get things done versus you need to get this done by Friday. You have to do it this way, this way, this way, and you need to work from 8 to 5, and that's it, you know, being very controlled. And then also over their team, so who you're going to work with. And so when you have more autonomy, that's what he's saying is what they're finding nowadays is for the people who are working today because they grew up in this feedback-rich environment where they got a lot of feedback about things, playing video games, playing online games, talking to people via Skype, you know, things like that, texting. They want to be able to have more freedom. All right, so I think David, you came in. Do you want to read that paragraph there?
Okay.
Turn up your microphone a little bit.
Much better?
Yes, that's better.
There are some interesting examples out of there of some practice that provide what seems to be a radical amount of autonomy as a pathway to better results. One of my favorite examples, and I think it in many ways the most actionable of organizations, is what this company in Australia called Atlassian, a software company does.
So this article was written a couple years ago, and then his book came out, and he gave a bunch of examples in his book, but this is one example of what he thinks is a way, a mechanism, or a strategy that companies are using. This company in Australia called Atlassian, how they're motivating their employees to be engaged in their work. So this is a software company, and here we're going to read what they do. Diana, will you read that?
Okay. Once a quarter, on Thursday afternoon, it says to its software developers, go work on anything you want. Do it the way you want. Do it with whoever you want. Only thing we ask is that you show what you created to the rest of the company on Friday afternoon. In this kind of fun-free feeling Friday afternoon meeting, it calls these things FedEx days because you have to deliver something overnight.
Yeah. So these are the FedEx days. So on Thursday afternoon, they tell you, go do something, anything that you want, we don't care, and you're getting paid. So this company is paying you your regular salary, but you're not working for them right then. You're doing whatever you want to do. So, but you're creating something. So this gets people motivated to come up with neat ideas because later on in their meeting, you're going to have to say, okay, this is what I did. Maybe it's a little snippet of code or a little new program that you thought of, or maybe it could be a whole new idea for a new product or something. And if you guys are familiar with the company FedEx, they have they deliver things overnight. So that's what they're talking about. And so let's see how it turns out. Ghassan, you want to read that?
Yes. It turns out that this one day of intense, undiluted, undiluted autonomy, it's incredible. This one day has led to all these ideas for new products, fixes to existing products, improvement for processes within the firm. One day, and it's so bizarrely radical in that it's not saying, hey, if you come up with something great, I will give you a little carrot. It's saying, let me get out of your way because you are a talented human being and you probably want to do something good.
Okay. Good. So there's a couple of words in here maybe we could go over. Just undiluted, that just means when you dilute something, it means you make it weaker, you make it watered down. So they're saying it's not diluted. It's very intense and you're very much on your own autonomy. And when this happens, lots of good things are happening for the company. People are coming up with new ideas for new products. They're fixing products that maybe have some problems with it or something. Remember, this is software, so maybe they have a bug or something. Improvements for processes within the company, within the firm. And the main point that he's trying to make here is, no, the bosses didn't say, hey, we're going to do this, and the person who comes up with the best idea is going to get $50. No, they're not trying to reward them or punish them. They're not saying, well, if you only come up with lame ideas, we're going to fire you. You know, they're just saying, hey, we know you guys are smart. We know you guys know how to work, and we want to see what you come up with, and that's why we hired you. So it's a really motivating way to get these people to work hard on something that's not their regular job, but that contributes to the company, the betterment of the company. So I'm wondering, now we have about 5 minutes, and we just read this article about motivating. What kinds of things do you think motivate you? Do you use carrot and sticks with yourself, or do you use other strategies to motivate yourself? So what I mean by that is, for example, sometimes we want to learn English, or maybe we want to lose weight, or maybe we want to learn a song on the guitar, for example. Maybe these are things we want to do. How do we motivate ourselves to do them? Do we tell ourselves, hey, if I do this, I'm going to get an ice cream? Or do we say, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be able to go partying this weekend, like punish yourself? What do you use for yourself? Tarek, do you have any ideas on how you motivate yourself to get doing things that you want to do?
Yeah, when I decided to do a thing, if I don't do it, maybe I stay at home for a little time to punish myself.
Yeah. Does it work? Does the punishment work?
Yeah, or playing video games or computer games.
Okay.
I guess it works.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, then I have a great energy to do the thing. Yeah.
Maria Jose.
I guess it works for myself.
Okay. Do you think that punishment and rewards work, or do you think having more freedom and choice works?
No, I think that the second one. I think that when somebody punished me, I think that I lost the interest for doing that thing. So I don't know. I prefer that the people said me like you have to be better in whatever thing. That yelling me or how do you say that? Or say me rude things like your work. Yeah. Your work is bad or something like that. No, because maybe I just do good things when I like that I doing what I doing, what I am doing.
Like to do.
Yeah. So I prefer the freedom, I think. Yeah. But you know that you have to how do you say it? You have to do your duties. So it's like a challenge. You know that you have to do something well. So if you don't do it, I think that the best punished is feel the feelings that you have when you don't do it. When you didn't do it well. So
for yourself,
yeah,
for your own satisfaction or to your own high standards.
Yeah.
Maria, what do you think about this idea of trying to motivate people with giving them more autonomy versus rewards or punishments?
Yeah, I think giving people leeway is good. And but I don't use like sticks and carrots for myself.
Yeah.
But I have a technique that is very helpful or very good for me. I before I go to bed each day, I used to think about what did I accomplish today. And I mean, when I started to think about this or do this, I was like, my first thought was, oh, I haven't accomplished anything today. But then I was, this has changed. When I ask myself, what have I accomplished today? Then I can enumerate a lot of things that I have done.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel so grateful.
Right. Yeah.
And after that, I can sleep.
Yeah. That's a great strategy, and I've actually been reading about that because I've been learning a little bit about something called neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and the guy who was talking about it was saying that's exactly what to do, is just keep focusing all the things that you are doing and that you are doing right, and you can kind of forget about the things that you're not doing right, or not, if you're not doing as much as you want. But the more you keep focusing on what you did do, you're just going to get more of that. So, yeah, and you're going to feel better. So,
yes.
Okay, guys, I wanted to hear from everybody else, but I just noticed that we're out of time. So the class was pretty full with reading and you guys giving some examples. Does anybody have anything they wanted to share before we finish here about motivation or working, and how do you guys get yourself to do things?
It's a great book. I want to read it.
Yeah, if you want to read it, if you look up Dan, I'm not sure. I think his website is Dan Pink, but probably it might be danielpink.com. And his book is Drive. And definitely look up the TED Talk. And there's also an RSA animation on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's a fun one because he's talking, but they're animating it with pictures and everything. So it's really interesting. So if you're interested in that idea of motivation and stuff, it's a good one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be doing the writing class next, so if you guys want to go over there and either get a reservation or wait until you see that green button, I'm going to be over there doing that. Over there doesn't mean anything because I'm going to sit here and just switch the windows. So it's a way of speaking. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for coming to class, and I'll see you another time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You are welcome. You're welcome.